Well, my name is Vanessa, and the thing that really concerns me the most about this bill is the individual constitutional rights of property owners. Whether they own a large building or whether they own one apartment, I don't think the state or the city government has a right to actually tell them how they can use their apartment. And the economic hardship on the city right now, there's a lot of economic hardship all over. There are plenty of owners that are going to end up in foreclosure if this legislation should pass, because some of them are barely paying their mortgages. So there's that element of it too. I can say for sure it will have a huge effect on tourism, a huge effect. There's a site called bedandbreakfast.com. I happen to own a bed and breakfast. And on that site, if you click United States, Manhattan is the top destination. So it is sought after, and these alternative accommodations, both private apartments and bed and breakfast, are sought after by people who can't afford hotels. Those people will not come to New York City. They're not going to just come for 1 or 2 days instead of 5 or 6. They're just not going to come. And for those people who might come for a shorter stay, they're going to be spending their money in a hotel, and they're going to have less money to pump actually into the economy of New York. So I see this as theaters going to be affected, restaurants are going to be affected, museums and cultural institutions are going to be affected. Let's face it, people who are on a budget come here, save the money in an alternative location, alternative place to stay. They spend the money in the city. That's why they're coming here, not to go home with money in their pocket. They're just spending it in the city. So I think it'll have a really huge effect on tourism. I've also had people who are elderly, and they're coming to stay with me because in a lot of cases there's weddings that have been done in Central Park, and they have their in-laws and whatnot staying, sometimes in other rooms, but they all get to eat breakfast together. They eat what they choose, they eat what they're familiar with. And then there's people who have children. I myself have a child, and a lot of times, particularly if you're breastfeeding or not, you need to have a refrigerator, you need to have a place to cook a meal. And again, with the families, I've had a lot of parents who are coming here, they're parents of students in New York, whether it be NYU or Hunter College or Columbia. They want to have Thanksgiving with their kid. Their kid shares an apartment with 19 other people. So where do they cook the Thanksgiving meal? In my little apartment. And I've seen 7 and 8 people around a table being able to eat Thanksgiving dinner together because the parents came to them. So that's another reason that I think it's important for families who have children and they want to make that connection. Right now it's really important that one would call Governor Patterson's office and email Governor Patterson's office. Right now the bill is actually sitting on his desk, and he is the one that can veto this. You have to say veto S6873, and it doesn't matter if you're from New York or not. Just call him and tell him that you are actually opposed to this bill. And for the reasons mentioned, it's going to devastate tourism. People who come to this city have a right to have a choice where they want to stay. Every city in the world, you have a choice where you want to stay. There's no reason that New York should be any different than that.